Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing today? I hope all of you guys are doing all right. And I hope you're healthy. I hope you're staying safe. And also hope you're staying intellectually busy. And now it's one of the most special times of the year for us Muslims. And it's the first day of Idul Fitri. So, Salamat Murabak, 1441, Idul Fitri. All right, in today's video, and here's my my new compatriot right here. So, this little Kuching still recovering. Yeah, so I've been keeping her in the house, and that is so that she will remain safe from the other children that sometimes come in here from the street. So the neighbors. All right, so let's talk about today's topic, which is talking about indecision. So decision making. And do those decisions match up with your short-term goals or long-term goals? Well, I think we're also going to talk about some communication and how important communication is for each and every one of us when we travel. I think that's a really great topic, so I hope you'll join us. Let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, first of all, I want to talk about indecision. What does that mean? Well, indecision kind of goes along with the same word as the word procrastination. So, you continue on thinking and putting off doing something, even though you've already decided that is what you need to get done, or if you're putting off a final decision about doing something important. So what I mean by that is that there's a difference between a choice and a decision. Choice? Yeah, because a choice you may want an apple or you may want an orange, right? So you have a choice between the two. But the decision comes when you have chosen that apple or that orange and then you've done something with it. Maybe you ate it, maybe you sold it, maybe you gave it away to someone else. So the differentiation is that the decision means that there is some finality to the choice that was made. So do you see the contrast between those two things? Well, I hope you do, because in your lives, you're going to be making lots of choices and lots of decisions. So I think if you have all the information that you are obliged to have before you make a choice or make a decision, then you can make some of the best decisions as possible in your life. I think that's a really great thing, to make good decisions with full undisclosed information. Because, I mean, would you like to go to a university that has frat parties where they do naughty things in order to try to attract you to join their groups? Yeah, there are many universities like that in some parts of the world, particularly America and in Europe, to where it attracts you into their group, and and young people often get encouraged to join frats and join groups like that, not really realizing the significance of those groups and what they're basically training you to do. They're basically training you to be a high-level gangster, in other words. So the difference is that you're following what another man or woman is telling you to do instead of what your maker would have you to do. So if you are a very pious young man or young woman, then you may be fully cognizant that you should do Allah's will or the will of your creator instead of that of a man or a woman or a corporation, if you will, organization or anything like that. What? Are you serious? Yeah. So that's why that's really important. I know that I like to speak deeply on some of these topics because they really do matter, and in your lives you're going to face all kinds of interesting choices and decisions about the situation that you're in that time. And if you have all the right tools, then you're going to know how to make the best decision. If you come to the realization that you don't have all the information about a particular situation, event, or thing, or person, then you're going to know not to make a contract to meet up with them later on to go out partying or something like that. And that is, of course, another reason why our parents don't want us to go out partying and getting into things, because a lot of people get into trouble. So it's really great advice. So don't think negatively of these parental requirements and the parental decisions, until you become your own man or your own woman and live under your own house with your own rules. Then you immediately have to follow everything with the strictest adherence to your parents' rules, as you should, because guess what? They own you. Yeah, even lawfully, if the parents are not subjugated to any organization or corporation, and they're subjugated to Allah and their sovereign people, then yes, they own you. So isn't that really interesting? So I think it is, and if we can respect other people, then that can go a long way. That can take us on into business respect and so on and so forth. So because people will see you as being a leader of your family, and that's why, in a big way, we're all leaders. So cool. So what do y'all think about decisions now? Do y'all realize the difference between a choice and a decision? Well, if you don't, think about it. Think about where you are in your life. Can you make a choice to only play games at a certain time during the day and make specific time even during the evening and in the morning to do some studying? I think if you can make those decisions and stick by them and adhere to your goals, then guess what's really awesome about that? You are paving the path for your own education. That is like autodidact. So autodidact is learning something because you want to learn it. So learning something because it interests you. And what's wonderful about learning autodidact is that it's going to benefit you in what you like, because a lot of people in the world do jobs that they don't like. Did you know that? I mean, it's kind of funny. I used to bother the heck out of my English teacher, and I used to tell her, I'll never be an English teacher because I think that's a boring job, because you have to put up with people like me. And guess what? I found out that's probably really what I needed in order to see both perspectives. So that's what a perspective is. It's a point of view. And isn't it interesting that some of the things that people don't want to do in their future, they end up doing exactly that. That's why Allah has an interesting way of helping us learn, and it's possibly because you don't want to become something, or you don't want to have a particular job, or maybe you don't really want to be a doctor or pilot or a business owner, but you like what it offers you. It offers you security. And so at a later point in time, you realize that, I do know a little bit about that, or I know a lot about that, because along the way, I've searched longer and harder for the details about each of these subjects, and then you begin to find them very interesting, and you begin to see how they can be very beneficial to you and your family's lives. So, what is security? Yes, the word security is a financial term, actually. It doesn't exactly have to do with a security officer that's being hired to protect your family or something like that. No, security is a financial term. So, but look at it this way. If it is a security officer that's been hired to protect your home or protect your business, then there is a commercial transaction taking place in order to get that accomplished, in order to have the order, the payment, the receipt of services done. And so yeah, it's really huge, isn't it? The things that we're going to have to face when we're getting older and growing up, and not procrastinating. So have you ever procrastinated to clean your room? So your parents told you, Muhammad, clean your room. Clean your room. You clean your room. Yeah, so Jared, clean your room. Zaki, clean your room. Pasha, clean your room. So if your parents have asked you to clean your room and you've put it off, that is a form of procrastination. Procrastinating is not necessarily a good thing, because you're going to find out that when you put your heart and soul into doing something, then you can really enjoy it. I think a lot of people born in August, particularly like my mother-in-law, she's an August woman and I'm an August man. So that's why my mother-in-law kind of clash, but we're a lot of alike in the same ways. We like things in a particular way for a particular reason, and I think for the most part it's the same way for a lot of Virgos, if you will, or for a lot of people born around the same time of the year, and that's really kind of interesting. So if you're a procrastinator, you're going to find out that you're you're okay with a little bit of discomfort, and indecision. So I call procrastinating a part of indecision because the action has not been yet done. The thought or the creation of the thought or the idea is there, but there's no physical action to accomplish that goal. So that's definitely procrastination. So you can procrastinate in many kinds of ways. You can procrastinate eating. You can procrastinate washing your bicycle, your motorbike, or you can procrastinate cleaning your bathroom if you have that duty. And I suggest to all of you, take it upon yourselves a few of those kind of rudimentary duties so that you can learn some responsibility. So if you learn responsibility now, it's going to take a load off of your parents. And if you can take a load off of your parents are going to be more likely to listen to your ideas and to support those ideas whenever they're good ones. Yeah, parents are not stupid. Parents are going to know what decision usually is the best one for how you want to live your life and for how they are thinking that you should live your life. So there are always two or three different ways that could go, you see, because you have two parents and then you have yourself. So two parents and then yourself. I know it looks bad, but it's not. It's my ring finger. So if you don't listen to your parents and you listen to yourself, then things are you're gonna be left with a fist. You know, you're gonna be having some hard reality to face. So I think that's a interesting analogy. So if you can live your life listening to your parents and following what is their goal, perhaps, I think things can go well for you, but you may not necessarily be as content had you formed your own ideas and your own thoughts. And a lot of us procrastinate, even imagine. A lot of us procrastinate about what we think or what we plan for our lives. So what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is that whenever we're imagining what we can become someday, it can be very challenging to bring those imaginations and those thoughts and ideas into a creative pattern which can act as a stepping stone for that direction to be fulfilled. Are you catching what I'm saying, guys? So what I mean is that we have to plan with our abilities to make short-term and long-term goals, which was in my last video. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. Check it out on my channel on YouTube. Fuck. So have y'all guys ever heard of the saying, proper planning produces piss poor performance? So if you don't have proper planning about something, then the performance is going to be really awful. So another statement of piss poor planning. How does that go? There's another one that goes, your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced someone coming to you and they need something and they need it really fast. So because such and such happened, because they didn't do something correctly, or they didn't wake up on time, or they didn't get what they needed to get in time. Well, if you haven't had that happen, that can absolutely happen. So that's about a poor decision making. I want all of you guys to be able to make decisions and make the best decisions. Of course. Why would I want anyone to make bad decisions? We're going to have experiences with making bad decisions, and that's what makes us a more careful and considerate man or woman. And yeah, I don't really like to use the terms individual anymore and the word person anymore, because the word individual and the word person are also included in the definition of a corporation. So if you think of yourself as an individual or as a person, then the legal system will consider you to be a corporation because you're using the terms that they have legalized or put into their code. So, and that's, that's why I don't really like English, and that's why I hated English when I was in high school, because there is always more than one definition to something, and that language can actually make us make some bad decisions if we don't realize how deathly important it is. The deep state, if you will, can go through Wikipedia and change anything they want to in order to twist it so that the information in it does not put them in the negative light, or there we go, light, perspective, right? So everything as far as a corporation is concerned is probably going to have a good and a bad side, but it's mostly bad because it's mostly artificial. So isn't that interesting? The governments and man-ran organizations here on this earth, they want to teach you to live in their world. And this is the other reason why I say the earth and the world are two different things. The earth was created by Allah, or the creator, and the world is created by man. And this is why every one of us have our own world. And that's why Disney has their world, Disney World, haha. Because it's kind of like shining a light on someone's creation. So if you create something, that's your world, that's your reality. So if you're living in someone else's world, then guess what? You're not living in your own reality. You're not chasing your own dreams, and you're not making your short-term goals and your own long-term goals, and you're having a lot of indecision. You may be having procrastination. You may be having a lot of fear. And this is why the Holy Quran talks a lot about having fear. Allah tells us not to fear any man. Why would you fear any man? You know the man is capable of destroying the earth, and he's done it before. So why should we fear man? What we should do is we should become of the knowledge of the goals of the deep state, the goals of the World Health Organization, the goals of people such as Bill Gates, and I used to say a lot about Dick Cheney, but they're about all the same. The goals of, what's that guy's name, Dr. Fauci, and the goals of Jeffrey Epstein. There are a whole number of elite people. The goals of Prince Andrew. We were talking about this earlier. I was looking at a show about that. There is so much information out there, guys. If you just go look for that information and find out as much as you can about the world that you live in. So the reason why I'm telling you all that is because I want you to have all the information so you can make the best decisions about what you're going to do in your life, so you can have the correct planning, so you can have the best decision for your life. And you guys are going to be really happy if you make the best decisions that you can make in your life. So I want you guys to be happy. I want you to have a joyful life, and I'm going to say alhamdulillah to that. And so I want you guys also to practice all of the vocabulary words that I have brought up, and you can even look online. There is the Bouvier's Law Dictionary, the 4th edition. It's a really great book. I think you may be able to find it downloadable as a PDF, but there are other versions out there that you can actually pay for. So do your research and learn. It's going to be up to you guys to take education into your own hands, because there are like I said, there's the way of the world, and if you follow the way of the world, then you're going to be doing the things that they want you to do, the way of mankind. And but if you can educate yourself, then you're going to be a whole lot more knowledgeable about all of the sciences, about all of the arts. You're going to be knowledgeable about the future of medicines. You're going to be knowledgeable about the future of technology as well. Sometimes small decisions can turn out to be large decisions. In other words, some decisions seemingly unimportant, and some decisions and small choices can have obvious consequences. Well, it may not be obvious at the time, but while a young child may not think that something is important, it can be very important because they are not aware of the dangers that you or I may be aware of. See? So I hope you can take that into consideration the next time you do something. Alright? Thank you so much for listening, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.